there has been a new port. Busan port has been a number 5 around the world, biggest port. Now is around 7 or 8 down. So peak year was 5th. And Shanghai port was number 1 now, but it is a relatively new one, say less than 20 years, probably around 10 years. Before then, Singapore is the biggest one. Now Singapore, I guess, is number 3 something. Number 2 is also China. Hong Kong was before Shanghai, Singapore was. In 1950, 60, Hong Kong was big. Anyway, so Busan port is also big one. Eighth or 7th biggest port in the world. Long Beach is in Los Angeles. Still looks big, right? I guess the Navy also, the US Navy also used that beach together with the commercial ships. So it's complicated shape there. This is one ship, right? This is one ship. And the crossing line, 2 lines, you see that there is a container crane. Right? You can expect, or you may have a experience to see we call it the tower crane in a building site. Say nearby, there is say apartment building is constructed under construction. There is a tower crane, like looks like this one, right? They are rotating, right? And that is very similar to that crane, but it is only for container loading and unloading. We call it container crane. So for this ship, there are 4 container cranes are working. Right? And this area, this is a loading and unloading. It's a parking lot for containers. All the containers are stored from the ship and toward the ship. So it's unloading first and then loading first, second, right? The ship carrying containers from Korea, China, Japan toward Los Angeles, and then arrive at that, they unload containers, right? And then also again, loading containers from United States to Asia. So container crane is busy. Also, there are many trucks running between crane and the parking area. The parking area is big. Right? So you see that there is only, say, maximum 3 ships, right? Here are 2 ships, and supported by this big area of parking area. Parking area is big. So any modern ports requires very big. We call it hinterland, backyard, big parking area. Baltimore is, this is Los Angeles, so it's the western side of the United States. Right? This is Baltimore, is the eastern side of the United States, one of the cities. But this port was very busy, say 100 years ago. Now it is not working as a commercial port. So you see that there are only yacht or leisure boat is parking there. So in, say, 100 years ago, those area is covered by factories and storage area. I cannot see any buildings nearby. There must be some buildings, but not here, but somewhere here. But anyway, now those parking area for cargos are converted into high-rise apartments in Baltimore area. Now they convert old commercial port into the leisure or modern living area. It's very good for living. They enjoy the seaside and also yachting and many restaurants there. Now it's very famous place for living. So that is a change from the history. Right. And there are so many different types of coastal structures. This one is for protecting the ships from the big waves. We call it a breakwater. So waves are breaking here. So it's in front of the portyard. So backyard there are a port. So they protect the big ocean wave is coming, and they break there. And jetty is for a ship uh, 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 coming into the port. We call it berthing. Berthing. Anyway, the ship is coming to the port. They contact the land area. So there is some small protection pieces to save parking of the ship. We call this a jetty. This is special small say bridge something like that. Small bridge. You can, if you have a chance to have a shipping ship travel. Anybody has a chance to have a unload on board ship? Any small ship? Nobody. Nobody has a chance. You should have a chance. Anyway, this is something like a passenger ferry building there. And this is for a beach area. So they want to also protect current and also waves. And dredging. Dredging is the digging the sand below the sea area. Why? Because they big ships is one coming into the Busan port or Incheon port. Incheon port is now busy, but as I told you on Monday, the west sea of Korea, we call Yellow Sea between China, that sea is very shallow. I told you, right? No, not to you. The Yellow Sea between China and Korea is very special sea. Very special. Why special? This is very shallow one. I cannot remember the exact number, but around several tens of thousands of before, several say 30,000 years ago, or 300,000, I don't know. There was no sea between China and Korea. Now it becomes to sea, so that the sea itself is very shallow. I saw one time there is a map. We call it a map of the sea map, and they shows the depths and maximum depths of the Yellow Sea is very big, right? Bigger than Korean Peninsula, right? Probably several times, 10 times bigger than the area size. Maximum depth is 60 meters only. 60 meters. Anyway, the Incheon port is second largest port of Korea. In old days, it was the biggest one. But because of the shallow water, big ships cannot come to the Incheon port. There is also the tidal difference. Tidal difference is every day water is coming into to the land. The rise of the water depth, right? The tidal difference because of the lunar motion. The tidal up and down is difference. We call the tidal difference. In Incheon area, the tidal difference per day is 10 meters, more than 10 meters. Very big. Comparing to the Busan or east side. Because I guess, I don't know the exact physics, but because of the shallowness of the sea. Then, so we need the dredging, digging the there's a say toward the port area there is highway, sea highway. We should have a several meter, tens of meters of depth of the water. It should be protected. Otherwise, the river is pouring more sand every year. So the dredging is for that kind of works. Size of ship and different types of how can you digging. So for the near the Incheon port, every day they are working on this. So this is another reason for how to locate the port. Korea is okay because we have a Busan port. But how about China then? China has difficulty in managing their port. That's why one of the reasons is they have a Shanghai port. 30-kilometer bridge for the sea to get secure the depth of the water. We'll see more. Okay, and then offshore platforms. This is offshore, onshore, offshore, far away from the land. Say the Gulf Coast. Gulf Coast is a famous place for oil and gas production. You are young, so there has been a very famous film called Giant. Giant, probably 1950. That is, the film is made. I can't remember the famous actor. Anyway, the story inside the film you can was oil production, but that time it was in Texas area, in the land side, in the field side. But now the Gulf Coast is they are trying to move into the water because of the oil is not anymore in the land side. So they start from the land and they poured to the deep into the sea. Right? So at the beginning it was shallow water, so that they can have a fixed, we call the fixed structure, footing onto the land seabed. But now it's very deeper and deeper, so you need to have a floating type. There are different types of floating. Right? You see more later stage. So there is a offshore platform types. One of them, the famous nowadays is FPSO. FPSO. Have you heard about this name before? FPSO? Yes. Yes. Only 2%. The short name of floating, production, and storage and offloading. And looks like this one is a computer graphics. Reality is something like this one, but it's ship shape. And for the production of oil or gas, first thing you should do is testing. We call it drilling, exploration, really, whether there is enough gas or oil, finding out. Right? So you need to have thousands of drilling places. And once you find that there is enough oil or gas, then they switch to the production system. So two different stages. One is testing, only testing and drilling, right? Finding out. And if you succeed to find out the good size of reservoir, we call it reservoir, oil reservoir, then there is a switch to another system for production. We call it production. Second one is a floating production. And then storage and offloading. Why? Because it's far away from the land side. So in old days, if we have a nearby production, something like this one, it is easier to have a pipeline to the land side. It is more economical to use pipeline under the sea pipeline, seabed pipeline. That's easier. But it's far away, say 100 kilometer outside into the sea. Pipeline is not economical anymore. Maintenance is also a problem. So they start to store the oil or gas in the ship, and then when it is enough, then oil tanker is coming and then transport to the land. That is name comes from. So storage size is needed, right? The tank size, storage tank, and offloading is giving the oil to the tanker. This is an ordinary ship for transporting oil or gas. So from this FPSO to offloading, switch to this cargo ship. And then this ship goes to the land. That is the idea and operation. And then this is FPSO here, right? But there are many pipelines under the seabed. So many small oil field or gas field is collecting oils into the ship. And this is for drilling. So the drill tower there. So you see that this is a remote, far away, and far away and very deep. Deep means say more than 1,000 meter depth of water. Now maximum can be 10,000 meters. Say the 10 kilometer water depth is operating, and then we reach the seabed, and then drilling starts there. So another say several hundred or 1,000 meter drilling. So it's a very tough work. Right. If the field is empty, then the ship, the FPSO, can be moved to another location. That is natural. Right? This is only computer graphics, conceptual. MIT, the university, right? They propose a nuclear power plant, or is a floating one. New idea. We also proposed to the Korean government to build this kind of power plant and then lend the power plant to the North Korea. Instead of building a landside nuclear power plant there, it was tried 20 years ago to limit their nuclear development. And there has been a construction inside North Korea. South Korea built one nuclear power plant landside, but there has been some problem, so it stopped. The construction was almost finished, but stopped. It was more than 10 years ago. So instead of building a real land-based power plant, we can build such a one, and then bring to the sea near Pyongyang, and only gives electricity. Right? Something happens, we can retract that one. That is another idea. Also, it can be used for, say, underdeveloped countries near the sea of the land of that country. For some period of years, they can provide electricity, say 10 years or 5 years, until they build their own nuclear power plant. Yes. Right. Right. Yes. So, right. So you should have a more protection. But one good idea is they have enough cooling water there. The cooling is the most important for preventing explosion of nuclear power. There is one idea coming from one company from France. They develop a submerged type of this. So underwater location of nuclear power plant, submerged one. The idea comes from the nuclear submarine. They convert nuclear submarine as a power plant, submerged power plant. It was a good idea, but it's not built yet. Proposal yet, but companies working on this. They probably have some. Wind energy. It starts from land, right? Land fixed wind power, and then similar to oil drilling, they go to the shallow water, into the sea. Now they move into the deep water. Why? Because of the size. Because of the size. And also because of the noise coming from the wind power system. This one gives you very low frequency noise. So for the human body, it's not good. So nearby, there's a wind power is running, especially during the night time. It's hard to sleep. So many people don't like to have their wind power system nearby. So that's why another reason is the wind is high near the mountainside. So most of the wind power plant is top of the mountain in Korea or in the desert area in China or United States. There are good in wind quality, we call it wind quality, and then also there are no people complaining about this. Now, why they move to the sea? You know this, right? Because wind quality is good, better in sea. Right? If you go to the ocean, wind is higher than land side. And also there are less people complaining about it. So you can build bigger one. Say, this one is land side, but big one. 6 megawatt is biggest, probably. But anyway, you can inside Korea, you see several land side wind power system running when you're traveling around. There is usually size of only 1,000 kilowatt, not megawatt, 1,000, several thousand kilowatt. Into the sea, it goes into the say megawatt size. So that is economic maintenance, operation and maintenance. The problem is, as I say, the noise and limited the land side also. You need to have a land, right, to install them. So large scale farm is not available. So that, but this one is also problem of the size is good. The big one is operating so economical, but you need to transport electricity to the land side. So there is one disadvantage. A mobile harbor. It was a big project inside KAIST 10 years ago. Because of the idea is coming from Singapore port. Because at that time, Singapore was the #1 port in the world. But you know that. Have you been to the Singapore? Anybody? No. Singapore is a city nation, right? City nation. Very small nation. So area is very congested. So port is #1. #1 means the transportation capacity is #1, right? So many ships coming and loading, unloading. So at that time, the port is congested. The traffic problem of ships and loading and unloading. So that many ships are waiting for their loading and unloading time, waiting in the sea. say more than weeks time, week. That is idea coming from. So the container crane is coming into the sea, and unloading ship, cargoes, and then ship goes into their way while waiting. Instead of waiting in the port area in the sea, so it's good for that kind of cases. So crane, so container crane. This is mobile harbor, but there are different ideas. But it is smallest one. So this one can load only 250 TU. TU means the unit of counting containers. Short name of 20 equivalent unit. 20 equivalent. Everybody has a chance to see the containers. Yes. No. Never see any container. Everybody see. The standard size of container. Standard size of container. It should be standardized, right? The size should be standard. Otherwise, you cannot stacking or transport like this. Size should be standard. The most popular size is 20 feet, 20 feet. Nowadays, 40 feet is popular, more popular than 20 feet. Two size is most popular, 40 feet, 20 feet. Because for the stacking, 40 is good for combining two over 20, right? So stacking is okay, or transport. So TU means 20 feet container size conversion factor. So 140 feet container is 2 to TU, 2 TU, right? Easy, right? Easy, 2 TU. So how many containers? 250 containers can be loaded in this ship. Aircraft carrier. This should be American. Nimitz class. So it's a floating airbase. Floating airbase. Floating airbase. Airbase. Largest type of aircraft carrier. The length is more than 300. In terms of building, how many floors you can expect for this length? Tall building, 100 floors. How much will be the height? Yes. Right. Similar. So you can expect that you can okay, erect the ship that it can be a 100-floor building. Right? It's a big one, right? Tons is 100,000 tons. And knot is speed. Knot, knot is 1.85 kilometers per hour. So it's, you can roughly doubling, then you can get the, so it's about 50 kilometers per hour. So it's not so fast as car or airplane, right? But it is fast in terms of ship. Nuclear power plant. Engine is nuclear power. This is horsepower. Engine size. How many horses? 300 horses. 300,000 horses. And they carries 90 aircraft. Undersea. This is several. Habitat means a house, living house inside. uh, water. So they are experimenting in Japan and Hong Kong and Singapore. There is apartment. There is in Japan, but I never been to there. But I heard that there is apartment under the sea because of the land is very expensive, crowded, especially in crowded area near the sea. Busan. Somebody from Busan area, Busan city here. Nobody. Busan is also congested. And the land price of land is very expensive. So just in front of the Busan station, railway station, say, or Haeundae. Have you been to Haeundae? Somebody? Haeundae Beach. Yes, Haeundae Beach. Okay. Haeundae Beach is very popular now, and there is big apartment. So anyway, the price of land there is very high. So you can build nearby, only 100 meters outside the water and into the sea. You can build. Free? I don't know. Diving equipment, scuba diving. So scuba is a short name of self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. But it was developed more than 500 years ago. Uh, seven, 70 years ago, Gusto probably from France. Aqualung was invented, which consists of compressed air cylinder and regulator. Regulator means regulating the pressure of the air from the air chamber. Regulator. Question? Question? All right. Surface supplied diving equipment. So diving bell was famous in Korean before because of the several accidents. Right? Diving bell. There has been a special film of titled Diving Bell. So diving bell idea is very simple. Right? It's a bell shape, right? In old days, and that contains air inside. Right? So they can carry people downward because bell is heavy. So together with the air and human, you can down, say 30 meters down. They can still breathe, and they can swimming around. And if you need air, then you go to into the bell and stay there, rest and oxygen provide, and go outside again. That is the idea. But modern type is something like that. Because of that, in old days, still the pressure is the same, right? 30 meter down with this old one, the air pressure there is also 4 times of atmosphere ATP, right? Air pressure. So it is not easy to breathing because 4 times higher pressure. This is a special suit, like similar to space suit. They want to protect the pressure to the person of helmet. Ocean vehicle classification, right? So this is surface vessel, common. But underwater vehicle is a submarine there. And also there is a very special airplane which is running near the sea, near the surface. We'll see in the later stage. This is not airplane. This is classified as a ship, but looks like airplane, but it still is a ship. It should be near the ocean surface. And then it comes with unmanned ship, no person here, and also unmanned submarines. Submarines and submersibles. Submarines, old types and new types. Submersible is a very small one. This is for exploration and scientific missions, catching small fishes and sampling of water there, sampling of some soil there, 1,000 meters, 10,000 meters lower. So this is say Shinkai 6,500 something. It is coming from Japan. They are saying this ship is uh, going into the sea of depths of 6,500 meters. So they are called Shinkai. Arrowway. Somebody on Monday said Arrowway. Remotely operated vehicle. So it is a operator is human, but human is far away in the ship, on the ship. Vehicle is down into the operation site of say 10,000 meter dive, but cable is important. So here, this cable is most important. We call it umbilical cable. That carries, first one is electricity. Second one is communication. Probably that is two most important things. The cable carries. But you see, the cable is, length of the cable should be same as the depth of the water. So it's not easy to maintaining the cable. Otherwise, they can be tangled around. That is one problem. But anyway, we need, because of the two important things, electricity and control signal. So AUV is autonomous underwater vehicle. That is self-contained. No cable connected. So it's a self-operating. So it should be using AI inside, artificial intelligence, because they should decide whether to stop or go or grab or escape. But the problem, once again, problem is too important because of the cable. Why? Electricity, and then communication is missing because there is no cable there. So problem when the battery is out, what happens? It can be lost. No communication. So still, in commercial, industrial work, robo is first. AUV is still under development. It is used only for short, small missions. It is a new slide I put in last night, so you don't have this one. I will send you again tonight. I put 4 more slides. So unmanned ship. This is a new development. Some difference is no human, so there is no, say, pilot tower. There is a high-rise building for the ships. Every ship has a small high-rise building. On top of the building, there is a pilot house. Captain is there, located there, and operating the ship. No such one. So it's very only cargo there. This is container carrying ship. Rolls-Royce is developing this kind of one. So they are saying more cargo, more containers can be carried. Also, the salary can be saved for human. Not only for salary, but also the hotel facilities for the crew members. Also need more cost. It's good. Also, the bigger problem is humans don't like to operate ship. On board the ship, if you go to the Busan port to the Long Beach of Los Angeles, it takes 2 weeks for the ordinary big commercial ships, 2 weeks time. It can be a kind of a prison for 2 weeks. So people don't like to be a crewman. That is another reason why we need to develop unmanned ship. Another good thing is it can be easier to develop unmanned ship than unmanned automotive car. Right? It's easier, technologically easier, because ocean is big and less ships are running around. So then it's a good idea to develop. There is more need. Also drone, underwater drone is also very good topic for research. Small size can do some work with small drones. They can carry or catch some fishes. I don't know. Right? Question. No question. So we can have a 5. Okay. Question. Unmanned submarine. Very similar. That is same question as what is the difference between surface ship and submarine? Unmanned is same, right? Unmanned is same. So what is the difference between surface ship and submarine? You can answer. What? Underwater. But what is different? No wave. No wave. Surface wave. Surface wave. On the surface of the ocean, storm is coming. There's a big wave is coming, right? But under the sea, no wave. So for the fish farming people, they have a fishy growing farm structure near the surface because you need to feeding them. Right? But when the storm is coming, it can be broke. Then all the fish is going out. Right? That's why they submerge the whole fishing net into the sea, say 10 meters. Then there is no storm. It's good. Problem is, once again, the cable, the electricity, telecommunication. Communication is very important under the sea. We'll see that. Because there is no smartphone under the sea. No electromagnetic wave is transmission. Only sound is working under the sea. So communication is very bad. That's why the submarine is good for Navy. They can hide. Otherwise, radars can catch them. You see this. Right. So the providing the air, electricity, and communication. Air is important for what? For engine. That's why the United States has all the submarines powered by nuclear. Korean navies or other nations, they have a diesel engine and batteries. But you cannot stay underwater more than a week because of the electricity. You should go surface to run the diesel engine to generate electricity and fill in the battery. But submarine with nuclear power engine, they can stay more than years. But human cannot stay. So it's going out. But technically, you can stay more. There is a big difference. We'll see more. Other questions? No, then we will have a short break. 5 minutes. We start 2 o'clock. No? 58. 58.